Well,
This is
welcome
good.
to Volunteer Corner. This is so awesome. I twice a year I get to talk to Cindy Thomas, who's one of our key volunteers. How long have you been coming to the bank? 5 years, 6 years?
Over 5 now.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I started just before the pandemic, and then yeah.
yeah. So I always kind of check in with her as a volunteer because she's been around and she's there a lot, just how she feels things are going there, especially around volunteers. And Cindy, we're now up over 4,000 volunteers in our database.
Wow,
So for people
wow.
like Emma at the food bank or Brian who are trying to, make sure that there's room for everybody, it is something of a challenge, but it is a sign, I think.
Mhm.
I remember when the pandemic started and places began to shut down, we were wondering at the food bank, what's going to happen about volunteers? Like
Right.
people are being told don't travel on buses, don't go out in public, always wear a mask, wash your hands. So we wondered what difference it was going to make. So we waited to see. We divided the team at the
hmm
food bank into two. There was Jane's team,
hmm
Team Chaos, right? Which is, were you on that?
Eyes on chaos.
Yes. And what was
Still
Brian's? What was
chaos.
Brian's team? It
Oh
was.
gosh, I don't even
It'd be
remember.
something really
It
solid.
was. It was. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's
The
just.
rulers.
Is that what it
I
was?
don't know. I don't.
Anyway, we wondered what was going to happen, and all of a sudden, our food bank numbers doubled.
Yeah.
The volunteers, they doubled, and that group never left
Yeah.
after it was over. And what it
Yeah.
taught me about London was that I really think um, people really want to get involved. They really want to make a difference. I
hmm
think they do find in the food bank, it's not too um, it's not too hard. It's not the kind of thing where you're really working with someone, let's say, who's a veteran who's got a alcohol problem, or you're dealing with somebody that's homeless,
Right.
has been homeless for 5 or 6 years. There's real expertise required to help those folks, and I think that the agencies in London do such a great job with that. But
Yeah.
our job is really to supply those agencies with the food that they need. But it does mean that the volunteers who come to us can be 5 years old or
Yeah.
90 years old,
Right.
right? It's pretty
Yeah.
simple to do. So I've really learned that. And now, however, what we're learning is that that number continues to increase, but it's increasing at a time when we're hearing all this negative news,
hmm
right? Whether it's tariffs or other things that are going on, the state of the economy, all that stuff.
Right.
There's something about Londoners that it seems as the going gets tough, they really do join up and,
Yeah.
and they want to help. So I really appreciated it. I did want to talk to you a bit though. This last month has been so challenging for me because
Mm.
I'm out there speaking with different media organizations and other organizations. And, Food Banks Canada did a special report card just a month ago, and it came out a month early than they normally do it. But they graded the provinces on how they were all doing, plus the
hmm
federal government. And it wasn't very good, but it created a lot of interest in the media. And then all of a sudden, all these municipalities in Ontario, uh, Mississauga, Toronto, Chatham, Kent, Kingston. The last one was Barrie from a couple of weeks ago. Their city councils declared states of emergency.
Mm.
Uh, so these are official
Yeah.
things that they're saying, and it's all about food insecurity or hunger. There's states of emergency over those, and I think that got a lot of news as well. London hasn't gone that way, at least not yet. But I mean, I think people read and went, "Whoa, this is pretty serious,
Yeah.
right?" And
Yeah.
especially as it affects kids.
hmm
So this year, I know I'm talking a lot here. I'm sorry, but I'm just
That's
trying to set a
no.
context.
Yeah.
But this year, our Thanksgiving drive is going on as
hmm
we speak,
Yeah.
and we decided to put the emphasis back on kids, which we had done for the first 15 years of the food bank's existence. We're into our
hmm
40th year now, but the first 15 years were called Breakfast for Kids Food Drive. That was the Thanksgiving drive. And
Okay.
it's because back then child poverty was in the news all the time,
Mm.
right? It was in Parliament, it was at Queen's Park, it was here at City Hall as well, people debating and talking about it. So we decided that's what we would do. And then, everything got bigger and way more challenges. But this year we decided to go back to the youth element. And I think a lot of the reason why is because of there's a report from the health unit, Middlesex London Health Unit, that talked about how 1 in 4 kids in London is
Right.
food insecure,
Right.
right? And then we've been working with a group called Young London. So we contracted with them because although we help lots of homeless agencies with food, we wondered, what about young people? Like
Right.
they're often not out in the encampments, and they're often not in institutions either. They may be
Right.
couch surfing with
Mm-hmm.
somebody or with a friend.
Yep.
So, but where do they get their food from?
Right.
Because a lot of what we've been learning about homelessness is the lack of diet for the homeless has really created all these other problems.
Right.
So we
Yeah.
hired Young London for the last year to help us figure out that migratory pattern and how we can help it.
Okay.
So that's where it's at. But what's interesting to me is I can be out there talking about all that stuff, and so can Jane. But down at the food bank,
Mm.
often they're hardly aware of it, right? Because there's
Yeah.
just so much work to do. Do you
Yes.
think any? I presume there's a general emergency
Mhm.
that they're sensing.
Yep.
But is it more detailed than that, or no? They're just getting on with the business.
So we have a whiteboard. So we've had renovations going on
Yes, I know.
at the food bank. So we're changing our area where all the volunteers are going in, and so the hampers are coming in from the warehouse. That's changing a bit too.
Yeah.
We've moved that around a little bit, and then they come up front and they're placed in on shelves where we can put together we call them extras, so the milk, bread, and eggs, and then all the vegetables, and then these hampers. And that used to have a big wall dividing it, and now it's a big open space, and we're every day it's a rejig of what goes where, what, for better flow and things like that. And people have input. So, but there's a whiteboard that now is pretty visible at the back that was kind of hidden by the wall before, and the one of the freezers. That has the results from August. So every month it kind of talks about the number of families that are helped and the number of individuals that were helped. So August was like, we knew that every day was really busy because we're having over, like, for the majority, I'm going to say 2/3 of August, we had over 200 families a day.
Busiest day ever was one day in August.
That's right. 347. I'm gonna about that. Families, not people, but families.
Yeah.
And so on the whiteboard at the back, it had August numbers, which was a little over 5,800 families, but 17,000 people.
Yeah.
And so that's a number that all of us were like, wow, 17,000 people that we helped just in August at the food bank. And obviously, if you're helping 58 plus 100 families, a lot of those are kids.
Yeah.
Like that's where, and even when we were on Friday, we had a whole bunch of large families that came in, like 10, 11, 12, 15 people in a family.
Wow.
So the majority of like kids, lots of kids.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we all realize, like when we're doing this, that yes, you're grabbing a hamper, you're putting together, vegetables, but you absolutely are realizing like the need and how many extra people, how many more volunteers are needed in that area just to get the food out to the people because there's more people.
Yeah.
We used to have like one person in each area. Now there's 2 and sometimes 3 people in these areas just to keep up with the speed so we can help people in a day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think just even that little bit, people noticing the amount of people that come in for month to month and the day to day, because we all look at the number at the end of the day. And we know there's a massive issue that we're helping out with.
Yeah, I mean, roughly 39% of the people that we help are kids, right? And people forget that. And so often they're thinking of the conditions the kids' parents might be in, like having trouble with work, or they don't get benefits at work, or they're on disability, or whatever. They forget that the kids are done. They're just kind of the victims of all of this stuff going on in the economy, and it's hard. And Jane did a thing on the computer a few months ago in which she looked at the number of individual people that we help that are unique. So we're not counting them coming twice in a year. It's just each one that came, and it's 40,000.
Wow.
So that's where she got the figure of we're helping 10% of London.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think always for us, because we've only got a staff of 9, when we think right now, we're really looking at going through some changes. Some are already happening at the front, as you have said, with the renovations. We really appreciate the different groups that are helping us with that. But there's changes coming. And part of the thing that's driving it is that we've been meeting with others, other organizations, and the City of London and others who are now saying the food bank has kind of become the main group, right? You're helping 40 other agencies.
Right.
You're doing these different feeding programs. And so you are now the main ones.
Right.
And we go, absolutely not. That's not what we want to be. We're a food bank. We're meant to be temporary. We're not going there.
Doesn't feel temporary.
No, it doesn't.
No.
On the other hand, you don't want people being taken care of just by a food bank. Like their needs are really legitimate.
Right.
So we've sat down and talked about it and realized we have a decision to make, and that's that we're kind of nearing capacity as a food bank. Everything is full, and yet the numbers continue to grow. So if we accept what others say, and that we become more and more the main group, then food banks across the country have reached that same spot. And most of them have then got bigger warehouses. They bought more trucks. They got more staff. And on it went, just to meet the need. And I understand, but we don't feel comfortable with that at all at London. So what we're doing is we're getting a firm in to try to help us to figure out how we can move things more efficiently within the warehouse, because it just grew organically. Like it went from 1,200 volunteers to suddenly 4,000. And, there's just all the stuff going on. And I really feel that for us, the key is the volunteers. I want to talk to you more about that in a minute, but the key is the volunteers. So this group, we don't know who it is yet, will get to help us in doing that. But what it means is we as a staff are going to count on volunteers more than ever. If we're not moving to a bigger place, if we're not getting more trucks and all of that kind of stuff, we're going to reorganize with what we have because it's efficient and it really works. That's the way that we're going to go ahead, at least for the next few years. Now, I don't think the volunteers know that yet, so hopefully they'll watch this and they'll see it, because we're right in the middle of it now. We're having all of these discussions, so spread it around to the others and other things. But I guess my question is, we'll have to sit down with the volunteers at some point and say, this is it. Probably starting in the new year, there's going to be even further changes to make things happen. Do you think volunteers are up for that? Like, I know they have to know about it, and we haven't filled them all in yet because we're figuring it out ourselves. Sure. But when the time comes and we say it, do you think they'll be up for it?
I think so. Like, I think the whole, like, everything about the food bank, I feel like has changed, right? Like, it just, you don't get comfortable because it changes. Whether there's the renovations, or whether there's a change in our policy, or whether there's different ways that we're getting food out to people, or the amount of people in there. So I think, yes, I think we're kind of used to change.
Yeah.
And I think so going forward with that, I think we'd be open to hearing about how that is, or how we're not going to change. So, because I guess there's some things we're just not going to change. So, but yeah, I think everyone is, it's a very tight group in there.
Yeah.
And everyone supports everybody else. So that goes all the way up. So
I think Volunteer Corner has become a very popular thing. We can see it in the data around it on YouTube and stuff. And it's more important than it. Like, I do videos twice a week. Way more people watch Volunteer Corner than my videos or whatever, because I'm discussing policy or other things. But I think what I have learned from talking to people is they watch Volunteer Corner and they go, that's just like me.
Yeah.
Like, I can do that. Like, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. You don't have to be somebody full of experience. And I think that's part of the reason why we've drawn in a whole new generation of volunteers, because they get a chance to actually see it. And I do think that people like Jane and yourself, and there's others down there that are like that too, you do make it fun.
Yeah.
Now, Jane is very, very good at that.
She is very good at it.
Rolls with all the punches and just goes on it, and it's all really great.
Yeah. But we have a new bowling alley.
Well, there you go. I know she likes playing hockey in the warehouse. That's just the way Jane is. Yeah. But what I was going to say was that I think it might be, there's some volunteers, and I know some of them, who come in who really like it. The more defined it is, the better for them. Yeah. So if you can say, do this, and do this, that's what they focus on.
Sure.
How do they respond to that kind of creative mayhem that's going on down at the food bank all the time? Yeah. Do you sense sometimes some have difficulty with the kind of freewheeling nature of it?
I think that's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
I think,
yeah.
but it takes a couple of beats sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I think everyone has a job, a role
Mm-hmm.
at the food bank, and sometimes there is like the renovations.
Mm-hmm.
The table, instead of being here, it's over here, and now you're grabbing from this side instead of that side. But in the same thing, your job is like your role is
Mm-hmm.
your role. So once you get used to kind of how that may be happening now
Mm-hmm.
today going forward, I think take you get used to it. But yeah, I think there's some people that just know it's going to change on a day-to-day basis, and then some people that take maybe an extra beat. I think that's just the way people are. But
Yeah.
I think in the end, everyone gets around to it. So
that's what I've noticed. It's really thanks to folks like you and the others, and Emma, Marianne, Jane. It's just
yep.
it's great. It is interesting for me though that in filming Volunteer Corner, Jane talked to some of the um, uh, students that were hired for the summer job grant students, right? And so to get and some of those came in fairly nervous, with trying to figure out what to do. Same happens with high school students that come and get their 40 hours, so they come down, they're trying to figure out.
Sure.
But within 10 minutes, they feel good.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's a real credit to you folks in the atmosphere that you give. But for some of the students that Jane spoke with, they're in university or going to university, and they're changing their courses as a result of what they learned at the food bank. Yep. Some are looking more into getting into the human aspect and working with people.
For sure.
But I think they didn't know they had it in them. They joined, but because they got a chance to do it and work for the summer. But all of a sudden, they felt this, this thing where they really felt with that one single mother that came in, or that fellow who just lost his job and having trouble finding another one. And I think it developed it didn't develop a capacity. I'm sure that happened. It woke them up to the fact that they were far more sympathetic and empathetic to those things than other things. I think that's a bit easier to feel if you're not always worried about exactly getting everything done. But is that your sense down there? But the young people that you see down there, is that how you see it too?
I think it just opens up your world, right? Like doing, you're in school and you're in school and you're in school and you do maybe some sports or extracurricular. But I think something like volunteering at the food bank completely opens up your world. You're working with very different people than you would normally in school and your own peers. So you're working with different age groups, different experiences. Even like there's a woman that comes in on Fridays, and every once in a while she brings her 2 grandkids in, and they take some carts out to people. So they're learning, they get help, but they're just wee ones, like they're 7 and 5. But they're learning about volunteering, right? So they go out, they help take the carts out, and they help break down some boxes. That's their favorite job, is to stomp on boxes. But yeah, so they're learning how to work with different people, and the students are the same. Like, I think, like, I can remember when I was a student, same, right? I'm sure. And that you're in your own kind of little world, but volunteering at the food bank is a vastly different experience. So it does open up your eyes to the world.
Jane's a good example. I was the same, but when I was in high school, there were clubs about human rights, right? Or United Nations clubs or things like that.
Okay.
And not a lot of kids joined them.
No.
But for those of us who were that age, it gave us a sense of, we feel we have something for that. So we attended that.
That's great.
And I think there's not as much of that available anymore as there used to be. So I think when young people who are many full of idealism and wanting to change the world, just like we are, and they come to the food bank and they suddenly kind of feel it first before they get into it.
Yeah,
it's really different. Whereas for me, I got into it, and then I developed an interest. Jane was the same, but I just my sense is from seeing the young people, it's great. Abuka's gone down there, right? So our daughter.
Yeah,
so
love working with her.
Yep, she's done did she tell you stories about me?
No,
not
that's one.
Good.
Nothing.
That's good, because there's so many about Jane.
Nothing.
And I'm glad
no
to give
stories.
You
no,
I don't
know
think
anything. No.
I don't think that's true at all. Anyway, so she's done 150 hours in the last year.
Wow.
Right? But we have seen that effect that it's had on her. It's like she feels she's part of a movement's not the right word, but kind of an awakening amongst a group of people.
Amazing.
That they really need to be doing this right now. Right. And these are tough times for a lot of families that are out there. And I love that the food bank can produce that spirit. But the reason why it is because we don't take ourselves too seriously.
Yeah.
Right? Like we could be really
Yeah.
rigid,
Sure.
but we're not. We understand that we are not being run by Glenn or Jane or Marianne or Emma. It's the volunteers that basically run the show,
Yeah.
right? And whether we like it or not, they do, and they're awesome, and it's great. But because of that, therefore, you have to change your tone
Mm,
and how you lead an organization to say, look, at this is an experience.
right.
It's not just a goal and you're here to help us fulfill that goal.
Yeah.
You're here as a citizen, and your opportunity to grow in that situation is
Right.
something that's really meaningful to us.
Yeah.
I really sense that's happening.
Yeah.
And,
It changes your self-confidence too, like working, at the food bank or organization like that too. You can see that when students come in, their self-confidence is much better,
no, right.
as they go along. So it's great to see.
Yeah.
I think I feel like everyone has that experience.
So we're going into our 40th year. It starts this month.
Wow.
I know. And so there's some groups that want to help us to celebrate it. And so Jane and I have been meeting with them. We do have a committee that's made up of different people from the community that are and the board. They're going to help. But in meeting with these people, the thing, I understand why they do it, but the thing they really want to emphasize is people like Jane and Glenn, who've been around for 40 years, right? Or the differences the food bank has made. And so what we have said is that we're not the foggiest bit interested in that. We don't want you to focus on us or whatever. There's two things we want you to focus on. One is just the community. Like if it wasn't for the community, we would, like look at this food drive. Like the community is going through a worse time than they were this time last year. And yet so far the givings are up in this food drive.
It's amazing.
That says something about the community, not about Jane and Glenn or just the food bank. But I think the second thing is this really is about volunteers. It's very rarely where you go to see something that's operating at this level, helping a tenth of London, 40,000 people, 6,000 families a month. It's very rare that you see something like that pretty well run by a group of volunteers. Right. And even the reaching out to the community. And when they have food drives, they're all volunteers, whether it's at a school or a business or the police or the firefighters. I mean, this is just a whole massive volunteer effort.
Yep.
And really, you've only got 9 staff at the food bank, right? Other food banks our size we average it out. They're about 25.
Wow.
Right. We don't have to do that.
No.
But it does mean we can put our money more towards food and other things that we need to procure. But I really like that idea, and I think they did too, the people that were talking to us, because it's easy to look at the food bank and say, oh, there's Jane and Glenn, or there's Cindy, or whoever it is, and you put personalities to certain things.
Yeah.
But there's some things like the food bank, it's this conglomerate of a personality. It's London is in the food bank.
Yeah.
All of these different people from all different cultures and faiths and everything. And it's a remarkable thing to witness. So they're feeling they really like that idea, and that's what they're going to do. But sometimes it's harder to cover, right? It's easier to just sit down and talk to 1 or 2 people.
Sure.
But now, how do you capture all of that? So we'll have to work on that. But anyway, I think I love the idea that the 40th year anniversary of the food bank is all going to be about the community and about volunteers, because that is our success, and we know it, and we think that's great. I was going to ask you, Cindy, you've been there some time. Have you noticed any real changes that have stuck out to you in the last? I think the last time I talked to you was, what was it, Christmas or the spring?
Spring.
Okay.
Yeah, it was spring sometime.
Okay.
Well, there's the things that we've talked about. So there's like the renovations that we're going through now. That's a big change. The amount of people that we're helping, that's even like you really notice that up, because we used to have the odd large day over 200 families. Now that's pretty much a main occurrence. And when it's under 200, it feels very light. So I think everyone's kind of ramped up to help that many people, which is an odd thing to get used to. But that, and I feel like we are seeing more of like the homeless population and coming to our doors too, to that. And also one thing that I guess maybe a change that maybe people don't know about is people with special diets.
Yeah.
So
there's lots of that.
Yeah. So instead of just giving, like, there's people like that are diabetics or they're gluten-free. And they can, instead of just getting a regular hamper that we would pack that is kind of like everyone gets the same thing, we can help them out with that too, because some of those things are costly. And some of our non-food items too are something new that we've really kind of ramped up on and made sure people know we have, like, so it's those are the changes that we've seen for sure, just logistically. So
I can see it out in the community. Things are changing about how people see the food bank. It's different.
It's always been a really great, like, people love to volunteer at the food bank because the reputation is so good. So that's like, people are excited to be there.
But I think also we're doing shows like this one, right? Where they actually get to look inside an organization and get to see what the people like. And they're not these super duper professionals, right? Rocket scientists or whatever it is. They're people that look just like the average lender, and they are making a difference. And the other thing I really like about it is, and you see it since the pandemic, despite all the challenges we're under right now, and it's massive, and we have to figure out where's the money going to come from, where's the food going to come from. The basic mood of the food bank at the food bank has not changed.
No.
It still seems to me I can come down there at any time and see people joking around or playing hockey or whatever it is, or bowling, really dedicated and putting hampers together or whatever it is. And it seems to me that when you go through a time like this, like a pandemic, and now with all the stuff that's going on, for a lot of organizations, they change as a result of those challenges because they've had to, like, it's a whole new future. I believe the food bank really hasn't. And because I'm not down there all the time, Jane is and you are, but whenever I'm down there, I say, you know what, it's roughly the same. It's a wonderful thing to see.
The feeling is absolutely the same. Like, nothing's changed that way. There's just more of us with the same feeling. So,
But I do think, Cindy, and I said this because I was looking at it earlier today, I said this the last time I talked to you, is that it takes certain personalities that, bubbly is not the right word, although it fits in your case. I think it's just more spontaneous, but focused on, why you're all here. So you're not going to spend all your time having a party and going off in the kitchen and gossiping all together. You got work to do, all that kind of stuff. It's really important. But I do sense that people like you who are there, who keep people positive and reminded, I mean, that's a big part of it. I see like that, as I said, because I've known you for a few years. But I would suspect that as times get heavier and harder, and I think it's going to be hard for the next number of years, right? That, you can have all the Glens out there in the world doing what they can to try to help, but it really is that person at the food bank who keeps people positive and can do so. That's what keeps the food bank in the same space, emotional space. Because if it was everybody just really heavy, and we're going to do
head
that,
down,
it would be hard.
Yeah, for sure.
So I credit you with that, Cindy, and I really appreciate you doing this. I do. So our next time is probably maybe the spring again. Maybe we can talk again about any further changes. Now, are you still volunteering at Aeolian? Yeah. And how is that going?
Great.
Is it?
Yeah, it's but so it's one of those things. So you can tell that people are struggling a little bit. The Aeolian's a great spot, run by volunteers.
Yeah, no, it's great.
It's one of those organizations as well. But you can tell that people don't have as much disposable income out there. So, but it's a great organization.
And how long have you been there?
14 years.
Well, there you go. Cindy's a true volunteer at heart. But the difference you've made at the food bank, because I notice these things because I'm outside of it, it is profound. It's not profound just for what you do, but it's profound given the age that we're living in. It's like things feel darker and more difficult. And the fact that the food bank can maintain this kind of disposition, that we're all in it together. Let's enjoy our shifts together as we're here.
Yeah. It helps me through all of this. I love it's my happy place, definitely. The food bank. I love the people there and the work we're doing. And I think it's great that we're all in it together. And it's when we get a shift and we are, everyone kind of connects with each other, and it's it's a great spot to be.
And a lot of that's thanks to you. Thank you, Cindy. Appreciate it. So we'll see you in 6 months.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks. No.
So I was talking with Cindy just about what's the volunteer experience as we go through these
changes,
and the challenges that are ahead. But
some people are, like we were saying, that some people are like they just know, like, the food bank has changed. And like, so you come in, and every day in the last week and a half, I've walked in, and it's different. And so even today, I did not expect it to be different, and lo and behold, it's different again. So I think like some people are kind of can roll with that. Some people take a little bit longer to roll with it, but they'll get there.
So I think the plan in that kind of context, so obviously within the wall, we've been taking some walls down, and we might put them back, but we want to try a few things. Yeah. And then ask everybody what they think.
Well, and the
what
people
they think is that are best.
Yeah, the people that do those jobs will say, well, that should be here and this should be here. And so that's going to happen. And that's what makes it work. Yep. So it'll get there.
So what we were talking about, though, what I've noticed is that in spite of all the challenges from the pandemic onwards, the real spirit of the food bank hasn't changed at all down there. It's roughly the same.
When it comes to the fact that people are down there and why they're down there, think about the people. For sure.
We're having fun down there.
Yeah.
Whereas other organizations have kind of twisted into pretzels trying to handle these things, and I think in part it's because we have an abundance of volunteers and we have an abundance of the community supporting us. So I think it doesn't leave you sitting there thinking, "Oh my God, are we going to make it or not? Can we make hampers today or whatever it is?" The public is so generous. We've been good, and we've got enough volunteers that it leaves you free to still enjoy the experience of being there.
Yeah.
Except when we change everything.
Everyone's eyes as you come in is like, what happened? Like every day.
But they adjust. They adjust.
They will. And it's brighter in there, which actually lifts your mood too. Like it was kind of with that big wall that was down the center. It's kind of hard to explain, but that was a big wall down the center of the big room. And so now it is brighter.
Yeah, it's just I think it's right. What we're adjusting to, and the spirit's still there. There's lots of volunteers, and we're kind of figuring it out together.
Sure.
But the fact is, there's lots of volunteers, and we're figuring it out together. Yeah. Like I think that's great. So I think you're right for sure that the spirit is.
This is what happens down at the food bank. See, I'm not involved in any of this. They just gab away over all of these details.
Yeah, it's
great.
Tweak.
Yeah,
tweak.
Anyway, it's a beautiful thing because you're not confronting problems you can't solve. On the other hand, you are enduring changes that you have to do because of the changes.
You have to.
But if you're all together and you're all feeling good, it's great. And both of you have great personalities for keeping people
Well, I don't
positive.
know about that, but we try.
We try.
But I think in the end, it's still, the changes are born of the fact that it's not just that we've got lots of volunteers, but that we're really busy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're so busy, and it seems like those numbers keep going up. So we're trying to figure out how we can manage that in the future as well, and figure out a system. And but we want to do it with the people that are doing the work. We're not doing the work. We're there, but it's the volunteers. That are doing all the work.
Yeah. Yeah. And we like the building, so you have to make the building work, right? We were kind of talking about that earlier. So so take the wall down, right? Like, there's things that you can do to make it.
We're so lucky to have Cindy, eh? Where would we be without her? She's so positive. And look at these two. Like, this is what the food bank is like.